Here, look, on behalf of my independent colleagues, Senators McDougall, Norris, Crockwell, Mullen, Keegan, Keoghan and Clonan, I'd like to particularly welcome the Taoiseach and to thank him for his very kind words. I'd also like to thank John Bowman for touching on the importance of independent senators, and that's what I'm going to focus on in a few moments. In preparation for today, I took the time to look at the New York Times that covered the very first Senate, and I quote from that edition. It says, of the 60 members of Seanad, there are 36 Catholics, there are 20 Protestants, there are 3 Quakers, and there was one Jew. The New York Times then goes on to say and remark that the first Senate was representative of all classes, though it was also described in the edition of the New York Times that day as the most curious political grouping in the history of the Irish state. I'd like to think in some ways that diversity still remains within Seanad. I want to take the time not to go back too far, but to think in recent years of people like Gordon Wilson and the role he played, and his superhuman display and clarity and charity and forgiveness in relation to the Omagh bombing. To Fergal Quinn, the entrepreneur, the man that championed enterprise. To Catherine McGuinness, who championed social justice and law reform. To our wonderful Father of the House, David Norris, and his famous European Court of Human Rights. And the European Court ruled that the law in Ireland criminalising same-sex activities was contrary to the European Convention on Human Rights. And more importantly, in particular, Article 8, which protects the rights and respects the private lives of the citizens of this country. And then I remember his senior counsel, Senator Mary Robinson, who indeed went on to was a senator and represented him. And then I think of my great friend, Dr. Maurice Hayes, Ombudsman for Northern Ireland, Chairman of the National Forum on Europe, a wonderful advocate for a pluralist state, and a man that did so much work, and again, very proud that he was a Northerner too. I think of Ian Marshall as President of the Ulster Union, Farmers Union, and his associations and academic career in Queen's University. I think of Mary Louise O'Donnell and her great advocacy in the Senate for education, for Irish culture, for literature and for drama. I think of Colette Kelleher for social justice and travellers' rights. I think of Pádraig Ó Céide for the champion of Irish language, enterprise and innovation. And finally, I think of Billy Lawless, a strong voice for Irish emigrants, facilitating cooperation both north, south, east and west, tapping into our diaspora and seeing the enormous potential of our diaspora. So I end with this, the crucial importance of independent politicians, independent minds that played such a significant and important role in Seanad, and I think that has been echoed both by the Taoiseach today and by Dr. Bowman. I hope that we will have the vision, the courage to continue to bring independent voices, and we talk about minority voices. We don't want minority voices outside these chambers. We want them in these houses, being respected and playing a very meaningful role. Thank you.